So yeah, totally up to you whether or not you would like to, whether you would like to be on the screen or not. Alrighty, let's do this. Okay. So laying back, knees bent, flat feet, sit bone distance apart. Can everyone hear me and see me well enough? Just give me a thumbs down if you can't. I see thumbs up. I think we're good. Aces. So arms at your sides, tailbone in neutral. All I want you to do is take a couple shoulder shrugs. So inhale, the shoulders slide up. Exhale, they slide down and away from your ears, thinking oranges in your armpits, squeezing to your hips. 2 more times. Inhale, the shoulders go up. Exhale, as those shoulders and oranges slide down, ribs sliding towards your hips as well. 1 more time. Inhale to shrug. Exhale, shoulders and armpits sliding down, ribs lacing. The minute you feel like you can't slide your shoulders down anymore, take a moment and then just relax them, open a little. Try and find that neutral, not up, not down, just right in the center. Keeping those shoulders nice and relaxed. You take another inhale. Exhale, find an imprint. Belly button pulls in, pelvis tilts back, finding that scoop. Don't worry about your low back getting down on the mat quite yet if it doesn't want to go there. And then lengthening back forward into your neutral. Tailbone goes heavy, lengthening, finding that space underneath your lumbar spine. You take another inhale. Exhale as you scoop. Belly button pulls in, ribs pull in. Is that pelvis is tilting back? Are your shoulders as open and relaxed as they were a moment ago? And then lengthening back forward, really feeling like it's not just your tailbone heavy, but your sit bones reaching towards your heels. 2 more times. Exhale, you scoop. Belly button pulls in, ribs closing. The minute you feel like you just can't scoop your abs anymore, can you relax your shoulders a little bit? And then lengthening forward and into neutral. 1 last time for keeps. Exhale, you're going to tilt that pelvis back, ribs and abdominals pulling in. Continue to breathe, but just take a moment here. Belly button's pulling in, ribs are closing, shoulders are open, trying to let your glutes and your hips go a little bit, really feeling the abdominals do the work. And now from there, keep the connections, even though you're gonna change the position, we're gonna resist to neutral. So your tailbone's gonna drop, you're gonna find that low back space, but you're gonna keep your belly button in, you're gonna keep your ribs closed, you're gonna keep your shoulders open. Fight for that working neutral, and then you take another inhale. Exhale to nod the chin, flexing forward and up. Looking between your inner thighs, arms just going to a low hover. Take a moment, you have a great view of your hips. Can you let your hips go? Can you let your butt go? And now look at a rib cage wrinkle in the middle of your shirt. Slide it towards your hips to lift a little higher. And then as you lower it down, arms can go up and back. You get to let them go. You get to let them drop all the way to the floor. Think of your shoulders and ribs, but if they open a little, it's not the end of the world, because we're going to reconnect them to start the next rep. On your next breath, the ribs go down so much the arms lift. You nod the chin, flexing forward and up. As those hands float down to hip height, you open the shoulders. You make sure that tailbone's dropped. You think of sliding forward with those rib cage wrinkles. And then again, lowering it down. Arms going up and back. Releasing neck, shoulders, jaw, really let it all go. And then you reconnect. Ribs pull down so much the arms lift like a teeter-totter. Nodding the chin, the rib cage wrinkles continue to slide down to flex you forward and up. Fingertips reaching forward to lift you that little bit higher. And then controlling it down. Arms going up and back. Are your neck and jaw really releasing as your arms do? This one's for keeps. Ribs go down to lift those arms to the ceiling. Nodding the chin, you flex forward and up. Once you're up, you have options. Arms can stay at a hover at your sides, or you can go hands behind the head supporting the neck. Either way, your tailbone is still released in neutral. Rib cage wrinkles slide forward to pulse you up. For 8, 7, breathing as you move. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, last one. Take a moment's pause in your flexion. Take a small rotation to your right. Is your left hip still down? And now you pulse to your right. For 8, 7, as you're pulsing, looking and lifting to the right, Your left oblique didn't turn off. Think left elbow to left hip. You don't have to think elbow to opposing knee. 2, keep pulsing, but go right up the middle. For 8, 7, again, you have a great view of your hips or your tailbones heavy, glutes and hips released. Continue your pulse, but take it to the left. Again, just a small rotation to the left. Only want to go as far as you can keep that right hip planted, looking and lifting left, but thinking right elbow to right hip. 2, you have 1 more set going right up the middle. Neck and shoulders might want to kick in here. Think loose fingers if they're behind your neck. Think nice, easy chin. Just focus on your ribcage wrinkles. 4, look at a ribcage wrinkle. Slide it forward. 2, last one, you're going to stay lifted. Arms reaching out in front of you if they weren't already there. Lowering it down. Everyone's arms go up and back. 1 big circle out, around, and down onto the mat at your sides. Neck, shoulders, jaw, they all get a break. Take an inhale. Exhale, find another imprint. It should feel good to get to tilt that pelvis back on purpose. And then lengthening that tailbone back forward and into neutral. 1 more time, because again, this one's for keeps. Exhale, you tilt that pelvis back. Once you have your imprint, just continue to breathe, but take a moment's pause. I don't care if your low back is down. I know it's the goal, but I'd rather you let your butt go, let your hips go, and just really feel the ribs and abdominals engaging. Make sure they're doing the work and that it's not a butt tuck. Keeping that scooping imprint. 1 leg comes up to tabletop. Whenever you're ready, you keep tilting that pelvis back. 2nd leg comes up to meet it. Legs together or apart is up to you. I just need you parallel, no diamonds. Keeping that pelvic tilt, you're going to lower that right leg down wherever you can keep that belly button in that scooping imprint, and then you scoop that leg right back up. Alternate legs in your own timing. I don't care about range. Maybe you lower your leg an inch or 2 being able to keep your imprint. Maybe you get that toe all the way down to the floor. I will say if you can get to the floor or even close to the floor, I think it's a nice idea to go that extra inch, because whether it's the toe, the ball of the foot, or even the complete foot that plants on the mat, it's an opportunity to let that quad and hip go and then really feel the scoop of the abs lift that leg back up. So if you're feeling especially hippie, 2 thoughts. 1, really try and tilt and scoop from that pelvis a little bit more. 2nd, don't be scared to go that extra inch to let that hip go, and then feel that teeter-totter of the belly button going down to lift the leg back up. You're going to do 1 or 2 more. When you are even on both sides, both legs are going to be at tabletop. When you're even and you're ready, nod the chin, exhale, flexing forward and up again. Again, arms can stay at that low hover or go behind the head supporting the neck. Legs together or apart is up to you, but you've got those knees right over your hips. Don't move your legs. Could you tilt that pelvis back a little bit more? Feel that nice deep scoop. Don't lose it. Ribcage wrinkles pulse you forward for 8, 7. So it's 2 exercises in 1. You have that first exercise we did, ribcage wrinkles pulsing and moving you. Exercise number 2 are those low abs scooping to hold that tabletop for 3, 2. Last one, staying lifted. If your hands went behind your head, reach them out in front of you to a hover. Everyone lower 1 foot down. Fight to keep that scoop. Look at that belly button pulling in as you lower the other foot down. And then from there, we reverse the circle. The arms open out to the sides as you lay back. Hips release to neutral. Arms reach all the way back overhead, and then they float back up to the ceiling and down onto your mat. Adding onto that, shoulders are open, hips are released. Take a little reset button. And then on your next exhale, tilting that pelvis back, finding your imprint again. Maintaining that imprint. You nod the chin, flexing forward and up. Arms are coming to a hover. Everyone's left hand only is going to go behind the head, supporting the neck. Small rotation over to the right. Deepen that imprint, take little pulses on that diagonal for 8, 7. Again, you're looking and lifting right. That right arm is reaching, but that left elbow is still going towards its left hip. Keep right on pulsing. Just scoop your right leg to tabletop for 8, 7. Belly button sinking down. Every time you lift, you're going to keep the twist. You're going to keep the pulse, but now both hands behind the head supporting the neck for 8, 7. So you're still lifting and looking to the right, but keeping that left hip planted. 3, 2, keep the right leg up, but take your body center for 8, 7, low abs scooping. 6, look at those abs. Are they sinking down? Every time your rib cage wrinkles, slide forward. 2, last one, you're going to stay lifted as you lower that right leg down. Both arms reach out in front of you. As you lower the head, the arms go up and back. You get to release to neutral. You get to really let your neck, jaw, and shoulders go like a reset button. Arms open wide to the sides. As they come down, you nod the chin. As you flex forward, you tilt that pelvis back, resetting your imprint. You scoop out that imprint even more as the right hand goes behind the head. Small rotation to the left, and then you pulse it forward for 8, 7. First pulse, both feet are down so you can really feel that imprint. Feel that right hip planted as much as your left. Now you fight to keep it. Lift that left leg tabletop. 8, 7. Low abs scooping back every time you reach forward. You keep the twist. You keep pulsing both hands behind the head for 8, 7. Again, loose fingertips, tight rib cage wrinkles. 4, 3. You're almost there. Just take it center for 8, 7. Are you still breathing? Air goes out with every lift. 4. Scoop those low abs back towards you. 2. Last one. You stay lifted as you lower the left leg down. Both arms reach forward. You reverse the circle. Arms open wide as you lay back. Arms reach back overhead. Neck, shoulders, jaw, chin, nice and released. And then those arms float up to the ceiling and down to your sides. And we take a little reset. So shoulders nice and relaxed. Knees are still bent, flat feet, but adjust them knowing that we're going into a bridge. So if you want to wiggle them closer to you, do. Just don't let those heels go past your knee crease. And then we go for a hip roll. Take an inhale. Exhale, tilting that pelvis back into your imprint. Deepening it so much so that now your hips lift. Finding that crease underneath your bum. Finding that thud. So it's not, I'm pushing my butt and my hips up. You're literally envisioning that crease at the bottom of your bum, right where your glutes and your thighs meet, that thud. Think of squeezing your thud crease to the ceiling. So you're deepening the connection, not just necessarily increasing the range of the position. And then whenever you're ready, softening in your chest and sternum, starting to roll it down. Neck, jaw, chin, shoulders, they don't have to move. Ribs and abdominals doing the work to peel you through the spine. Don't throw away that drop to neutral. Let your tailbone go, your sit bones reach forward, your shoulders, neck, jaw, release. And then you go again. The pelvis scoops and tilts. When you scoop and tilt so much to lift the hips, make sure you didn't tilt your chin down. Find a focal point on the ceiling. Feel that back of the head nice and easy on the mat. When you get to the top of your bridge this time, we're going to pause. So you've got that thud. Do you feel your big toe, pinky toe, and heel equally down? Your heels can have a little more weight than toes, but don't let your pinky toes have more weight than your big guys. Keeping those big toes as heavy as your pinkies mean those inner thighs are going to work. Imaginary ball between your inner thighs. Give it a little bit of a squeeze. Very aware of how long I've been leaving you here while I'm talking about all these parts of your body. And then whenever you're ready, softening in that chest and sternum. Peeling it down. Again, as you feel that scoop, that tuck, that tilt to the pelvis, you don't have to tuck or tilt your chin. Lengthening forward and into neutral. We just have 2 more here. Pelvis tilts, ribs and abdominals start this. That same abdominal connection you had a moment ago in your imprint. You just scoop it out so much that the pelvis lifts. And then the thud turns on. Squeezing those thud muscles up to push the front of the hips open. When you feel like you just can't push your thud any higher, do you still feel your ribs and abdominals connected? Pushing the hips open is awesome. Just don't do it at the expense of your rib connection. And then starting to peel it down, especially as you hit that middle back and waistline. Shoulders relaxed and open, making the ribs and abdominals do the work. Tailbone drops, sit bones reaching forward, and we go one last time. This one's for keeps. Pelvis tilts, ribs go down as those hips go up, finding that crease underneath the bum, squeezing the front of the hips open. Really find that imaginary ball between your inner thighs. I can't say enough for it. Chances are you can squeeze it a little bit more than you even think you can. And now breathing into those ribs so they don't pop. Find that thud. Little pulses up for 8, 7. Neck, shoulders, jaw, and chin don't have to change as that thud squeezes up. 2, last one, stay lifted. Don't lose your thud. Your hips are never going to lower at all. They're now a done deal. Imaginary ball between your inner thighs. Give it a little squeeze for 8, 7. You barely have to open to feel the connection of that squeezing close. 4, 3, 2, last one, keep the squeeze of the imaginary ball, pulse the thud up again for 4, 3, 2, the thud stays lifted, you squeeze that ball, 4, think squeezing with your inner thighs, not just your knees, last one, thud goes up just twice, 2, squeeze that ball twice, 2, for singles, make sure you're up for the squeeze of the ball, so you go lower, lift, then squeeze, release, lower, squeeze your thud, squeeze the ball, release. When you squeeze that imaginary ball, your thud never turns off. So it's a lower lift, squeeze. Are you still lifted? Lower, lift, squeeze. Are you still lifted? 2 more. Make sure you're breathing. And then you pause. You've got your thud, you've got your inner thighs. Don't lose them. If you feel like that low back wants to take over, ribs and abdominals can deepen their connection. Remember, I don't care how high you are, I care how connected. You could roll down 2 inches to deepen that abdominal connection to support you and you'd be good. We're gonna arm circle. So arms floating up to the ceiling. When they go back overhead, I want you to go for it, but not at the expense of your ribs and abs. Protect that control. Big circle out, around, and down to your hips. You have 3 more in this direction. Circling your own timing, using that breath. And think every time after your arms go back, when they open to the sides, squeeze that imaginary ball. There's something about when the arms open, the knees want to follow suit and they don't need to. The next time your hands are down at your hips on the mat, take a moment. Can you relax your shoulders? Inner thighs and big toes are heavy. Ribs and abdominals staying connected. You have 2 more. Collarbones staying wide and open. Last one. The next time you open out to the sides, you can leave your arms in a T. You can bend your elbows in a goalpost, maybe even reach back overhead in a Y or an I, but just let your arms stay wide and away from your body. And then fight like crazy to still roll through your spine, feeling that fight of your ribs and abs trying to pull in while feeling your chest that open. It might not be perfect articulation, but it should feel kind of like a nice stretch. Lengthening that tailbone forward and into neutral. Arms can circle back down at your sides. Take an inhale, exhale, just find that imprint. The minute you have your imprint, take 2 deep breaths. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, pull the belly button and the ribs in a little bit more than you thought you could. One more time, you take an inhale. Exhale as you're deepening your abs. Can you let your butt go? I know it's hard to let it go when you just worked it so hard. Try and let those glutes and hips release. And then from there, you scoop that right leg to tabletop. Both hands come behind that right thigh bone and you just stretch that right leg to the ceiling. And know we're in an imprint. Most of you should still feel a hamstring stretch. If your leg is getting more than a hamstring stretch and doesn't want to go straight, don't stress about it. And we just do it 2 more times, bending that knee. Exhale, think the abs go down as that leg goes up. You can flex, you can point, you can circle that ankle around, give it a little wiggle, whatever it needs. And then you bend it back to tabletop. This one's for keeps. Exhale, you stretch that leg up to the ceiling. Take a moment. If your abs got a little lazy, can you tilt that pelvis, scoop it out a little bit more? Your abs are supporting that leg. And then you nod the chin, flexing forward and up. Hands can stay behind that thigh bone, or you can creep up behind to your calf. Just don't grab right behind your knee joint. From there, you're going to take that left leg, slide it just straight on the mat in front of you. Reach it out. Feel how your ribs and abdominals have to work a little bit harder to maintain their tilt. And now scoop those abs down so much your left leg just floats to a hover. And then whenever you're ready, you scissor and switch those legs. Exhale and you switch. If you want to add that little pulse, you're welcome to. But just remember, the pulse is not just about deepening that hamstring stretch. It's about deepening that abdominal connection. Abs scooping to support the top leg so that hamstring can actually release. Abdominals working, tilting back so that bottom leg's hip and quad can lengthen and open. You have 3 more. 3, 2. The next time your left leg is up, you're going to leave your left leg up. You're going to bend your right knee and plant it down on the mat. You're going to lower your head, neck, and shoulders. Really let them go. And then bending that left knee to tabletop. Maybe even hug it into your chest if it feels good. Exhale, stretch that guy up to the ceiling. Again, point, flex, ankle, wiggles and rolls, whatever you need. We have 2 more. Bending that left knee. Exhale, stretching it to the ceiling. Think all of this is just a working active hamstring stretch after that bridge work. 1 more time for keeps. You bend the knee. Exhale, that left leg reaches up. Now that that left leg's up, can you deepen your imprint? Not by just pulling the leg closer to you. Leave the leg and scoop and tilt the pelvis back more. Nodding the chin, flexing forward and up. Again, if you're feeling bendy and you want to grab towards your calf, don't grab behind the knee, and make sure you don't strain your neck to lift higher. Right leg is going to slide out to straight, just on the mat to start. Let that quad go, let that hip go. Feel those abs scooping to do the work. Think of a teeter-totter. Your belly button is going to go so far down that your right leg just floats to a hover, and then you scissor and switch. Again, this is where it becomes up to you. Maybe you take a little pulse. Maybe you just do single switches. Maybe you're feeling really tight and your knees are at a micro bend the entire time. I think what I'm worried about is you finding some length through the back of the leg and a lot of tilt and scoop through the pelvis. Going for another 5. Scooping it out 4. I'm counting time, not reps. 3, you keep doing you. 2, when you're even, the right leg will be up. Leave it there. Scoop the left leg up to meet it. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders. 1 hand underneath each thigh. You let your neck, jaw, your shoulders go, and then you flex those feet and you point the toes. 2 more times. Just a flex and a point. 1 more time. You flex. When you point or relax your feet, take a moment's pause. Can you keep your legs up? Keep those fingertips for supporting, but can you drop your tailbone into neutral? Can you think of sticking that butt out? Can you feel a little bit more length through the backs of your legs? And then you just hug them right into your chest. They can take a little V, little rock side to side. And then both legs are going to reach long and you're going to roll onto your bellies. So elbows bent at your sides in a goalpost, legs turned out to the corners of your mat. If you would like to be parallel legs together, you are more than welcome to do so. If you're like me and you sit and scrunch all the time on a computer in a weird position on a couch, a little more space for your back might feel nice. So legs, whether they're together or turned out to the corners, imaginary ball between your inner thighs. Give a little bit of that squeeze. I don't want you to feel like you're clenching in your glutes, just enough to feel them connected. Think of an imprint. Your belly button's lifting away from the mat. Pelvis has a little bit of a tilting down. Take an inhale. Exhale, you're going to slide your shoulder blades back, lifting your chest and head just to a hover. Hands, elbows, forearms, all staying down. Once you're in this hover, we talked a lot about wrinkles. Find some middle back wrinkles. For lady, it's a bra strap. For the gentleman, thinking about where a heart rate monitor would be. But now envision that middle back wrinkle. Could you extend and open up your chest, lifting from it just a little bit more? And you're like, all right, I've got my middle back wrinkle, Tara. Do you still have your belly button? Just tightening a little bit, feeling like your belly button could close. And then as you lower your head and chest down, turn your head to look one direction. Just resting on an ear, letting your neck go, letting your shoulders go. We go from the bottom to the top. Glutes and inner thighs, do they have that imaginary ball or sticky? Pelvis, do you have that baby imprint so you feel like your belly button's trying not to just hang out on the mat? Shoulders and armpits start to slide back. As they do, your head starts to float center as it hovers. You immediately think middle back wrinkles, middle back wrinkles, middle back wrinkles, lifting you into your hover. Everyone's height is going to be different. I want you to go where you feel middle back connected, little shake of the neck, elbows and forearms are staying down. And then as you lower it down, turn your head the other way, resting on that other ear. Head, neck, shoulders, and jaw, let go. Glutes, hips, even let them go for a little bit. And then you reconnect. Glutes and inner thighs, squeezing that imaginary ball. Baby imprint with the belly button. As the shoulders slide back, your head floats center, lifting you up into that extension. Your upper and lower back are definitely working. They're just not the main mover. Keep thinking of the middle back wrinkles. Belly buttons lifting to support that low back. Now you're going to keep your elbows down. Lift your hands. If you can lift your wrists and forearms, that's great. But if it's just the hands, that's great too. Lowering the hands, your chest stays lifted. And then we go again. Exhale, just lifting those hands. Yes, you still get to push into your elbows, but it forces those extensors to kick in just a little bit more. As you lower the hands down, do you still feel those extensors and those middle back wrinkles working? One more time. Lifting those hands. Now find your belly button. Find that imaginary ball or sticky. When you're ready, you're going to lift your elbows as well. But once you lift that entire arm up to a hover, can you think of your elbows kind of pushing down into the air? Elbows just a millimeter lower than those hands to keep those collarbones opening wide. And then you lower everything down. Head goes right down the middle. Last time, we're adding on for some full breaststroke. We start the same. Shoulders sliding back, your glutes and inner thighs squeezing. Lifting from your middle back bra strap. Now with that, we're gonna stay here for a bit. Find a focal point. I think it's not straight down, but it's not out towards the wall either. Maybe towards the edge of your mat. Keeping that focal point, hands lift first. And then when those elbows lift, you try and keep them just a little lower than your hands. And then both arms are gonna reach forward Superman style, belly button still turned on. Circle the arms out to the sides. As they reach back to your hips, could you lift just a little bit higher from that middle back wrinkle? And then we go again, you bend your elbows. As you go forward with Superman, your neck stays stable. Circling back, around and up, you have 3 more in your own timing. As you reach forward, you think shoulders back. As you circle around, you think belly button up. As you reach forward, you think neck and chin don't have to move. As you circle, you lift from that middle back wrinkle. One more time, you reach. Exhale, lift. When your arms are reaching back by your toes, stay there for 3. Keep thinking oranges in your armpit. Squeeze that juice to your toes. 2. Lower it down on 1. Push back and take a shell stretch or child's pose. So just letting that spine round the other way, sinking your sit bones towards your heels. And again, taking moments where maybe you're reaching out, lengthening. Maybe moments where you really are rounding into a true shell stretch. Maybe you want your hands to reach back by your feet. But just taking a reset button for 3. Nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. 2. On 1, you're going to roll it up to 4-point kneeling. So hands underneath shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. Tailbones in neutral and slightly extended. Think about that middle back wrinkle that you just had a moment ago, using it here. If it feels good to go for a little bit of neck extension, looking up and out, because we look down at devices all day, go for it. But make sure you're still lifting out of your shoulders. You're not sinking between them. From there, you take an inhale. Lowest part of your abs initiate. Low abs are gonna zip and scoop, rounding low back. Then mid back. Then upper back. When that head goes down, really let it go. Give it a little shake. Make sure it releases. And then once you feel that head is let go, could the ribs and abdominals, those wrinkles lift a little bit higher? And then you start to lengthen. Low back, mid back. As you lengthen through the shoulders, chest, and head, again, a little neck extension isn't a bad thing. Just make sure you're still supporting from your shoulder girdle as you do. And we go 2 more times. Low abs, zip and scoop, rounding low, mid, upper, head. Once you feel like you've placed your head in the right position, can you actually just let it hang a little bit? Look at that belly button wrinkle, zip up and in a little bit more. And then head and tailbone starting to lengthen and extend. Think you get to extend as much as we've been flexing and rounding away. Don't feel badly sticking your butt out, opening up your chest, opening your rib cage. Just feel support through your shoulders and pelvic floor while you do it. Last time. Low abs, zipping, scooping, rounding. Head, neck, and shoulders go heavy. And now from there, we're not going to shell stretch child's pose, but I am going to have you shift your weight back maybe 1/2 to 3/4 of the way towards your heels. Still rounded, still scooped, maybe a little bit of glute and inner thigh squeeze. And now instead of being planted on those hands, can you just go fingertips? Just barely feeling them on the mat. Can you keep glutes, inner thighs, low abs, and rounded, and then float your arms to a hover? So you're rounding, scooping, contracting, and then you just float the hands back down to the mat. 2 more times. The hands float. Your wrists, your shoulders get a break, but your ribs, your abdominals, the scoop of that angry calf is still active. And then you float them back down. 1 more time, floating those hands to a hover. Hands are going to stay off the mat. As your glutes and inner thighs start to squeeze and push forward, rolling you to upright kneeling, your arms start to float down at your sides. You look at your abs, You look at your rib cage, you look at your chest, your shoulders drop open and your chin and chest finally lift. And then turn to face the screen if you're not already, just so you're not turning your head. We're just kneeling on the mat. Don't worry if you have stuffed sides or not in the right position. Again, I just don't want you to have to turn your head if you want to peek at what we're doing. So crease underneath the bum squeezing, tip tops of those inner thighs aware, chest nice and open, palms facing me. Take an inhale, exhale, just scoop your arms chest tight. And then float it right back down. Take a moment if you need to reset, nothing fancy happening. Yeah, Whitney, if you have weights and you want to grab them, you're more than welcome to. Again, you scoop and you lift. Sorry guys, should have mentioned that. So as you continue to scoop and lift, take your time, don't worry about staying with me. What I want you to think about is the moment that your arms go back down, you're gonna feel your weight shift forward a little bit. It's a good thing. The next time they go up, can your weight not shift back? So doing a couple more in your own timing, don't worry about me or anyone else on the screen. Just thinking that moment when your arms lift, you don't want to shift back into your feet, or more importantly, your low back. Get a little bit of a punched in the gut feeling as your arms lift to help keep your body forward. Shoulders stacked over hips, hips stacked over knees. And then the next time your arms are up, chest tight, know that they're going to stay there. Trying to feel those ribs and abs, getting that punched in the gut feeling. Butt squeezing, imaginary ball between those inner thighs working. Little baby pulses up. For 8, 7, neck, shoulders, and jaw, nice, easy, and relaxed. 4, 3, keep right on pulsing, but palms face each other. For 8, 7, 6, 5, tight pair of jeans get zipped up. With every pulse, your palms face down. You keep pulsing up with those knuckles. Keep pulsing. Your right hand's gonna go on top of your left. That left arm pushing your right arm up. Keep the pulse. Just slide your left arm up to your right elbow. You kind of have a figure 4. Yeah, you don't need the weights. I planned this as if you didn't have them, so don't feel bad dropping them. Keep the pulse. Your right arm stays on top, but your left arm slides back down to your wrist. So you have wrist on wrist for 4, 3, 2, left arm slides up to the elbow. 4, 3, 2, slide back down to the wrist. 2, up to the elbow. 2, now singles, think of it like a dance. Down, up, down wrist, down elbow. Again, don't stress if you're not with me or another square on the screen. Both shoulders dropping heavy for 4, 3, the next time you're wrist to wrist, just stay in pulse. 8, 7, you separate, shoulder, distance, apart. You bring it back in with that left arm on top, right wrist, pushing that left arm up. Do you still have your thud? Do you still have that tight pair of jeans? Let's take the right hand up to the left elbow for 8, 7, 6, 5, breathing. Down to the wrist, 4 counts. 4, 3, 2, to the elbow. 4, think of that squeezing with every pulse. Take it to the wrist. 2, to the elbow. 2, singles, elbow and wrist. Down, up, little dance, let it bounce for 4, abs in 3, tight pair of jeans 2. Next time you're at the wrist, you just pulse for 8, 7, hands separate, shoulder distance. 4, 3, palms face each other for 8, 7, glutes and low ab zipping. 4, 3, you're almost there, I promise. Palms face up for 8, 7, nice easy, elbows. 4, 3, bend your elbows behind your body, pull and reach. Again, bodies forward as you pull. Can you keep that body weight forward as you reach? Glutes and low abs tightening. 2 more, you bend and you reach. 1 last time, chest opens and you reach. From there, palms face each other. Arms float up to the ceiling, ribs and abs pulling in. That left arm is gonna reach out and down to your hip. And then from there, you're gonna start to bend up and over to that left side. Let your head go. Feel like that left fingertip could reach all the way down past your knee to the floor. Glutes are squeezing forward, especially that right one to open the hip. Now keep listening to your left ear and shoulder. I know letting your head hang is a little weird. Keep it hanging heavy as that right arm lifts up in circles. So you listen to your left shoulder as your right arm moves. You listen to your left shoulder as your right arm moves. And then you feel this nice long pull from that right ear down your neck to your shoulder. Now your neck and your shoulder just have this nice long open pull. I don't want it to tighten back up. So from there, think of that right armpit and that right bottom rib. Make your oblique do this. Exhale, that right rib pulls down so much it lifts you up. And then that left arm lifts and you just side bend up and over the other way. Squeezing that left glute forward. Listening to that right ear and shoulder. Letting it all hang, hang, hang. Ribs and abdominals pulling in, even thinking of a little bit of an imprint here can help. And then from there, that left arm, it's gonna lift and open. As that left arm is reaching out, keep listening to your right ear, keep listening to that shoulder, letting that head hang heavy. How much can you keep hanging to the right? But feel that left shoulder sliding down and away from your ear. And then breath, abs, especially that bottom left rib, pull down to pull you up. And then if you would turn an awkward way, turn to face your mat because we're going to take this back into 4-point kneeling. When you're ready, both arms are going to swing up to the ceiling. Lift your chin, open your chest, push those glutes forward. And then you open the arms right back out to the sides as you nod the chin, round the spine, walking your hands forward so you're in 4-point kneeling, knowing that we're going to go into a little bit of a plank, so adjusting is needed. Hands are underneath shoulders. If you need something underneath your wrist, if you're a forearm kind of person, I support you. One leg is going to slide back to straight toe tuck. Don't take the second leg back yet. Squeeze that legs glute. Feel those ribs and abdominals zipping up and in. Really similar connection to what you just had kneeling. Your spine is already where it's supposed to be. So that second knee, just feel it lift up with your abs and then take it back to straight. Legs together or apart is up to you. If you're a legs apart kind of person, glutes and inner thighs are squeezing that imaginary ball. Your legs are literally squeezing together. Awesome. Hold that penny or that piece of paper. Lifting up and out of the shoulders, never sinking into them. Focus isn't up or down. It's that little bit out, little bit past your fingertips. In this position, take an inhale, rocking forward on your toes. Exhale, sink back into your heels. 3 more times. Forward in the toes. Exhale as you sink back into the heels. Are the glutes still squeezing? 2 more times. When you rock forward, is the belly button still up? When you rock back, the glutes are still turned on. 1 more time. You rock it forward, shoulders open. You rock it back. If your legs are together, take them sit bone distance apart. We shift back so much your butt shifts up. Back like a downward dog, but you're not going to be here long. Your hands are going to start to walk to your feet. Ribs and abdominals zipping up and in as you walk. Knees softening is needed so that you can hang in that forward fold. Letting your head, neck, jaw, shoulders really release, finding a focal point behind you as you let it hang. And then the knees soften, the abdominals zip, and you start to roll it up. Crease underneath the bum, squeezing. As you peel through the spine, once your body's tall, take your time if you're not there yet. Arms circled wide, up to the ceiling. Glutes push forward as those hands reach up, and then they open right back out. Soften the knees as you nod the chin, rounding through the spine. Head, neck, jaw, and shoulders go heavy, heavy, heavy. Hang out in that forward fold, really letting your neck and your jaw go. Whenever you're ready, you walk it back out into that plank. Trying to walk forward as opposed to side, glutes squeezing. Once you get into that plank, again, legs together or apart is up to you. Glutes are squeezing, low abs zipping. Find that focal point. And now zip up in those abs so much you bend that right knee forward like it's coming tabletop. And then you reach it right back down. Ab zip that left knee up and in and lower it down. Keep marching in your own time. No points for speed. It's not meant to be a mountain climber. 2 big thoughts. Whatever knee is coming in, do you really feel the abs zipping up to support it? Or are you just bending from that quad and that hip flexor? Second big thought is your supporting leg. It's your supporting side. When you bend your left knee, it's your right glute squeezing. When you bend your right knee, it's your left glute, still squeezing. Do 3 or 4 more, breathing as you move. Exhale. Exhaling into the abs. Is your focus still out, not up or down? When you're even, you're just gonna hold that plank for 4. Glutes keep squeezing, 3. Abs keep zipping, 2. Stay with me. If your legs are together, take them sit bone distance apart. You're almost there, I promise. Come down to elbows and forearms. If you need to take a knee, do. Trying not to. Glutes keep squeezing, abs keep zipping for 4. In through the nose, out through the mouth, 3. 2, you're gonna take your right elbow and arm towards the middle of your mat, turning and rotating towards your left into a side plank. Glutes are squeezing. If you need to drop that bottom knee, you can. If you need to take a hand, you can. But finding that side plank, chest is open for 4. Glutes keep squeezing, abs keep zipping up and in, 3. Chest stays nice and open, 2. And now from there, lower your right knee down to the mat. Lower all the way down onto your right side. Don't worry if you're not facing the screen. Nothing crazy or exciting is gonna happen. You're laying on that right side. Both knees are gonna bend. So all the way down on that arm and armpit. Yes, knees are bent, feet back in alignment, kind of with your sit bones. Once you're laying on that side, shoulders to hips in one long line. Think of taking that left shoulder and hip away from your ear. Find some length through your waistline, little mouse hole underneath your bottom right rib. Top arm is wherever you want it, as long as it's keeping your shoulders stacked. Lift that top knee up, find a clam. Take a moment in that clam position. So feet together, knees apart, squeezing that left glute forward. I don't care how high your left knee gets. I care that your glute is squeezing and your hips stay stable, controlling that knee back down. One more slow one. Yes, you think left glute forward as that left knee lifts and that thigh rotates open. What's your bottom right rib doing? Are your ribs still truly stacked? As that left knee goes up and back, that right rib kind of has to go back and down. Controlling it down, think glute and rib, and now go for a little speed and tempo. Exhale, you lift and lower for 8, 7, 6, 5. Core working as that thigh bone moves. 4, belly buttons away from that t-shirt towards the spine. 2, the next time that knee's up, it's going to stay up. Take little pulses for 8, 7, glute squeezing forward for 4, bottom right rib back, 3, 2, take 3 more pulses. You go 3, 2, on 1, you lower all the way down and we lift again for 3, 2, you take a moment's pause on 1, you lower down, lift a pulse, 3, 2, on 1, your glute stops that bouncing and then you lower it down. Again, a little pulse, pulse to hold and down. Again, 3, 2, hold 1, lower down, 4 more sets, 4, 2, hold 1, lower down, 3 more sets, 3, 2, hold 1, and down, last 2 sets, 3, 2, as you hold on 1, navel to spine, and down, last time you go 3, 2, on 1, you hold that knee up, keeping that knee lifted, lift the foot up to meet it, so that whole leg's in the side tabletop, reach it out to the side to straight. So from your shoulder to your hip, to your big toe, you're reaching in one long line. Could it get longer, longer, longer? It should feel good to stretch it away. Ribs and abdominals pulling in. Take little pulses up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Take the tiniest pulse back for 8, 7. I don't care how far it goes back. I care that your foot does it. 4, 3, 2. You pulse it, lift it to the side. 4, 3, 2, you take it back. Little foot crease. 4. Are your ribs and abs still pulling in? Lift it up to the side. Just 2 counts. 2. To the back. That's squeezing. 2. Go singles. Lift and push. Lift side, push back. For 4. Ribs and abs staying connected. 3. So your back's not bouncing around. 2. Last 1. And then from there, push it as far back as you can just once. Take your left arm forward, almost letting your body round forward. That left leg's gonna reach back and then it's gonna rest on the floor and just feel like from your left middle finger to your left big toe, you're in this one big, long diagonal stretch. And then from there, you're gonna start to circle your left arm back overhead as your left arm or leg goes back to the side and forward. Your right arm can come forward as your head goes down and you just kind of pinwheel around into a spinal rotation. So you end up laying arms reaching out side to side, bottom right knee is bent, top left leg is straight. Doesn't have to be straight, you can have a soft knee, but it's kind of like you wanted your right hand to grab onto your left big toe if you could. Wiggling through those shoulders as needed to open through the chest. Maybe your focus is up, maybe your focus is rotated all the way over to your left arm. Just breathing into it, feeling that middle back chest stretch. Hopefully you're feeling that left hip and IT band get a little bit of love, reaching away from you. For 3, 2, on 1. You get to bend that left knee so the feet and knees are stacked. That left arm's gonna lift. You're gonna rotate down and into 4-point kneeling, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, spine extends, chest opens, and we just go for a cat stretch. Whenever you're ready, you nod and you round. Little reset button after all of that side work. Head goes heavy, ribs go up, belly button goes up, letting the neck, shoulders, and jaw release. And then head and tailbone start to lengthen and extend. Again, as your collarbones open, if it feels good for that neck to extend, let that tailbone extend. Just think shoulders and pelvic floor aware. And we go one more time. You nod and you round. Head, neck, and shoulders go heavy, ribs and abs lifting up and in. And then letting it extend, opening up through the spine. From there, you nod your chin if you extended it just enough to go ears in alignment with shoulders. You keep stable shoulders and tailbone, but your ribs and abs lift up so that you have that one long line. Whenever you're ready, one leg slides back, squeezing that glute, feeling your core connected. Second leg goes back to meet it, just finding your plank. Again, legs together or apart right now is up to you. Glutes and low abs zipping up and in. You are going to squeeze that left glute like you have no other job in the world as your right foot taps to the side. How wide is up to you? And you bring it back in. Right glute squeezes as your left foot taps to the side. And you squeeze it in. Continue those side taps in your own timing. A lot like when we were doing that marching. I care about your abdominals and hips staying level and square for the foot that's moving. I care even more about that supporting legs, glute. You have 4 more. If you're moving the right, you squeeze the left glute. If you're moving the left, you squeeze the right glute. Do one more set wherever you are. When you are even on both sides, if your legs were walking together, you take them sit bone distance. So you have a little bit of additional support to come down to elbows and forearms. Ribs and abdominals zipping up and in. Give me one deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Left elbow goes towards the middle so that you can rotate to your right. Finding a side plank. Glutes squeezing. Hand can be at your hip. It can reach the ceiling. Just keep thinking of lifting out of that left shoulder, feeling that bottom left rib up. Keep the left rib up as you lower the left knee down. And then lower your body all the way down onto that left arm. Both knees bent, upper body in that one long line from shoulders to hips, feet in alignment with your knees. When you feel good about that alignment, right shoulder and hip sliding away from your ear. Finding a little bit of that mouse pull and lift underneath your left oblique. We start slow, feet stay connected, you lift that top right knee up. Find that right glute. Feel like you don't stop lifting the knee because you don't think you have more rotation or it doesn't want to go higher. Your right glute is your break for that knee height, and then you control it down. One more time, thinking bottom left rib. As that right thigh bone rotates open, that left oblique is really trying to pull back to keep your core stacked. Controlling it down, you think right glute, left rib, and we go for tempo. Exhale, you lift for 8, 7. Breathing as you move. 4 more. 2. The next time you're up, you stay up, little pulses for 8, 7. Navel to the spine for 4, 3. Let's do 3 more here. You go 3, 2, you hold for a hot second on 1, and then you lower it down. Again, lift, pulse, pulse, hold 1, lower it down. Again, glute 3, 2. When you tighten and hold on 1, don't tighten your neck and your jaw, lower it down. Again, 3, 2, left ear's relaxed, and down. 4 more. 4, 2, left bottom ribs tight, lower down. Again, 3, 2, navel pulls to the spine and lower down. 2 more, 3, 2, glute squeezes, lower down. Last time, 3, 2, on 1, you hold it there. Whole top leg is lifted and it reaches out to straight to the side. Reach it side, 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 so much your mouse hole gets bigger, everything gets long, and then take little pulses up to the side for 8, 7, it doesn't have to be big, 4, 3, now envision that thought crease as you pulse it back for 8, 7, as that back crease squeezes the front of the hip, it lengthens, it opens, it tries to take it up to the side for 4, 3, 2, take it back as the leg goes back, that belly button pulls in, no popping ribs, take it side, 2 counts, 2, take it back, 2, go singles, you lift it side, push it back, a little lift, a little push, for 4, belly buttons in, 3, is your neck and jaw still relaxed, 2, last 1, and now this time you take that right leg, back, 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 back. Your spine's going to extend a little. Your hip's going to open a lot. And then that right arm's going to reach forward and out in a diagonal. Right toe hits the floor. Right hand maybe hits the floor. It's like that middle finger and that big toe are just reaching and opening in opposing directions. And then from there, we've got a big pinwheel. As that right arm goes back, the right leg swings forward. The left arm goes forward as well to make room for your head to hit the floor. And then you just have this big wide T of the arms wiggling through the shoulder blades as needed. Bottom left knee is bent. Top right leg, I don't want to say it's straight, but it's lengthened away from you. If you want to grab onto that big toe, if you wanted to reach underneath and grab towards that calf to give it a little assistance to the stretch, do. And especially if that hip and IT band are tight, again, don't feel like the leg has to stay straight. Maybe it's a little micro bend and a little push. Maybe it stays micro bent, but then you really focus on trying to open up your body, looking out towards your right hand. It's definitely my big request is just to hang out and breathe and have a listen to your body moment for 4, 3, 2. On 1, you can keep your arms and chest open. You're just going to take that right leg, circle it down and away so that you can roll right onto your back. Both legs long together or sit bone distance apart is up to you. Arms are going to reach back overhead in a Y or an I. If I could pull your arms back and pull your legs forward and just make you a big, long morning stretch of a line, I would. We're going to try and go for a roll up. So legs together or apart is up to you. I'm just looking for parallel. Legs straight or bent is up to you. I'm just looking for a roll through the spine. So whenever you're ready, the ribs are going to start to slide down. That's going to help you lift those arms up. As you nod the chin and flex forward, if you don't feel an imprint, it's not going to work. So soften your knees as needed until you feel that waistband down. Fingertips towards thigh bones, always allowed and encouraged. Rounding up and over the legs when you're ready, reaching towards those toes. Maybe you're reaching to ankles or calves, letting your head, neck, and jaw go. Breathing into a bit of that hamstring stretch. Maybe your knees are staying soft and you're really focusing on the head and your spine getting to flex forward. And then rolling up an imaginary wall. Head is the very last thing to lift as you come up sitting nice and tall, arms chest tight, and we roll right back down. Belly button leads the way. When you feel like your legs want to tighten or your heels want to lift, soften your knees. It feels backwards, but it works. Fingertips coming forward towards those thigh bones for a bit of resistance. Always allowed and encouraged. Let it go when you go to the bottom. Don't worry about your shoulders and ribs. Take, again, that big morning, maybe even popping your chest open, reaching your legs long, stretch if it feels good. Just make sure you reconnect before you go for that roll up. So those ribs and shoulders reconnect. That encourages the arms to lift. Nodding and flexing forward, breathing through it. Again, fingertips towards thigh bones, totally allowed. Rounding up and over the legs and listen to your body moment. I'm having a straight leg day, so sometimes you have a bent knee, really letting your head hang day. And then the abdominals are going to lift, rolling you up that imaginary wall. Last time going down. Pelvis tilt as you hit that C curve, whatever your knees need to do, but keep your focal point. Think you want to tilt and tuck through the pelvis, not through the chin. When your arms reach up and back, you're going to circle onto your stomach again. Elbows bent at your sides in a goalpost, legs turned out to the corners, no matter what, because we're going to go for a little bit of swan. So, forearms and forehead resting down, legs turned out to the corners, glutes and inner thighs aware, little belly button lift. Take an inhale. Exhale, shoulders start to slide back as you lift the chest and head. Middle back bra strap works as you continue to lift into that breaststroke position. Now from there, I know it's tempting. Don't lift your elbows up to the sides to start this. Pushing into the heels of the hands. Keep thinking middle back wrinkles, middle back wrinkles. Feel those elbows peeling, those forearms peeling. Under no circumstances do you have to get to straight arms. You have to get as high as you feel supported, keeping your shoulders out of your ears and your elbows from rotating out to the sides. Think of your elbows rotating straight back. Sometimes even thinking of your elbows trying to rotate to look towards each other is helpful. And then whenever you're ready, elbows are gonna bend. You kind of start to roll through that forearm, through that middle back breaststroke prep position. Elbows can slide wide as your head goes heavy. And we go one more time. Shoulders and armpits sliding back, glutes and inner thighs aware. As you hit that point when your elbows want to lift, try not to let them rotate to the sides. Feel those oranges in your armpits. Middle back, wrinkles, lifting. Yes, your upper and lower back are extending, but when you're as high as your body wants to go, don't think, can I bend from my low back more? Try and envision that middle back wrinkle a little bit more. And then from there, as you start to bend the elbows to bring it down, or your shoulders staying out of your ears. It's a little bit like you're trying to keep your head above water as long as you can before releasing into it. Push back and take a shelf stretch, child's pose. Sitting your sit bones to your heels, letting your head, neck, jaw, and shoulders release for 4, 3, 2, on 1, when you're ready, you tuck your toes, finding a downward dog. Take a moment in that position, adjusting the distance between heels of hands and feet. And then you get 4 free counts. If you want to lift and lower heels, bending a knee, walking the dog, if you just want to sink out and hang into it, you can. Just know all I'm doing is counting you out for what you need. For another 4. If you're having a day where you just hate being on your wrist and you want to walk back to your forward fold now, you can. 3. If you are walking and moving through those heels, just really think, could my heels sink a little bit lower than I thought it could? 2. Lengthening and reaching out through that tailbone to help increase the stretch. 1, when you're even and you're ready. So take that extra beat. You're going to start to walk either hands to feet or feet to hands. Just trying not to Betty Boop the walk. Think up with those ribs and abdominals as you start to move into that forward fold. Head, neck, and shoulders heavy. Just relax. If having a nice long leg and sinking into that hamstring stretch feels good, awesome. You're like, it's more my spine. I want to bend my knees so I can really round and think of that angry cat stretch. Awesome. My big request is, again, just that you continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting that head go. Think if you're looking at your toes, your head's too high, let it release. And then no matter how bendy you are, bend your knees at least a couple inches. Feel like your tailbone gets to drop down so that your abdominals can be the focus starting to roll you up. As your hands start to pass your knees, then your glutes can really engage. When they do, then your knees can straighten so that you feel that forward on your toes feeling as you peel up through the spine. And then once you're tall, you guys are all set. Okay, where are my people? For me, it was fine. Yeah. Okay, first class in, I was like, work parts.
Whitney, I like your setup, the double mats. That's really smart.
Yeah, no, because the yoga mats are not.
Because then, like Tian was doing, then you can switch around.
Yeah, no, it's a little cementy. Can I show you guys where I am, for those of you that have not seen this beautiful place? Can we talk about this?
Where are you? Yeah, I'm in
So
Idaho.
beautiful. Oh my gosh.